boss who sits over here. They are both career naval officers on a 2-year assignment. First year they're here, then they move over here, the air boss moves on, and the new mini boss is appointed. How many people have seen the movie Top Gun with Tom Cruise? Remember the guy that gets the coffee spilled all over it? That would be this gentleman right here. He's the air boss. He's in charge of all of those men that I just spoke about. Down on the flight deck, we launch aircraft from that end of the aircraft carrier. We have 2 steam catapults, which launches an aircraft from 0 to 160 miles an hour in 240 feet, using the power of the catapult and the power of the aircraft. If you haven't been to the talk on the catapult part, it's a very interesting talk. And down on the rear of the aircraft carrier is where we call it the trap area. It's where the aircraft land on the aircraft carrier. That's another interesting talk if you haven't been to them yet. They're the men that do it. A lot of them actually were pilots and were launched off an aircraft carrier and landed on an aircraft carrier, so they're first-time out. When we launch an aircraft, we launch an aircraft every 45 seconds. We have 2 catapults, 45 seconds, they launch this one, 45 seconds later we launch off the starboard one, then back and forth until all of the aircraft in that particular flight operation have been launched. Now, on the aircraft carrier in the rear of the plane, rear of the aircraft carrier, we land an aircraft every 45 seconds. The only difference, during daylight hours, the only difference is at night we slow it down to 1 per minute. Because they're using just their lights of the aircraft carrier when they land at night. And if you go back down there, you'll see what it looks like trying to land up on some lights that go across. On the back of the aircraft carrier, we have 3 cables stretched across the deck. The aircraft come in, they catch their tail hook on one of those 3 cables. The cables are spaced from the first to the last at 80 feet. We use the term, it's just about the size of a tennis court. Trying to set that tail hook down here. They hit the middle cable about 85% of the time. A little story is that when they land, most people will think when they hit the deck, they pull back on the throttle. What they do is they do exactly the opposite, because they have to be at full power, because if they didn't and they missed the cable, they have to be able to take off again. And if they didn't go to full power, they would not have the time to pull back the cable, then go to forward thrust. So they go to full cable. Once they realize they've caught the cable, they pull it back. The aircraft runs out, the cable is set, so it runs out exactly 340 feet. The cable falls off, the plane gets out of the way, and a new aircraft is coming in right behind it. Somebody brought up one day, well, what do? We launch and land in all kinds of weather. And the deck is rolling, the ship's going up and down. Somebody said when they launch aircraft, they have the shooter down there, the gentleman down on one knee. What he does, he tries to make sure the timing so the ship is on the uprise. What he does is to do it when they're on the down, so to run the ship.
It's a little chilly out here. I'm glad you got your hat on. Okay, enjoy the rest of your tour, folks.
Thank you.
Okay. Whoa. That's scary. Going down. Can you go around me?
Sure.
Thank you.
Is that everybody?
Yes.
Okay. Still one there. Okay. Welcome. This is the chart room for the Midway. You notice I said chart room, not map room. The Navy does not use maps, it uses nautical charts. Obviously, because we're more concerned about the water than we are the land. We are concerned about the land because we don't want to run into it, but we basically want to know where our ships are at any particular point in time, and we use charts to follow that along. Now, when the Midway went to sea, it would have pretty much, they would know where it was going to go, what area of the world, and it would have charts for all of the waters that they were going to operate in. And this, the man in charge of this area is called the navigator, and the young men that work for him are called the quartermasters, and they do all the navigation work aboard this ship. Most of it's done right here in this room. Now, there are 3 charts in this room, and they all have historically significance for the Midway. The chart on the right as you came in back there is of Subic Bay in the Philippines. It was a very important stop during the 60s and 70s for any U.S. naval ship that was deployed to the South Pacific. I call it the 7-Eleven of this area because it's where they got fuel, they got food, the crew could do shore leave, and they could actually do minor repairs there. The chart on the left as you came in over there is Japan, which is near Tokyo. And the Midway started a program that the Navy originated called forward deployment. More commonly known, the Midway's, it bounces a sonar signal down off the bottom of the ocean, comes up and hits the bottom of the ship. The black line would be put on the chart in here by the quartermasters, and then the chart would be moved up to the bridge, which I'll tell you where it's going to be. It's up on a table in front of the navigator up on the bridge. And we have stations on either side of the island where the quartermasters work, and they have a compass with a sighting device on it. And they are given assigned stations, or assigned points on the land that we know aren't going to move, like a bridge, a lighthouse, a rock, a building, anything like that. And as the ship moves through the water, they, on the mark of the navigator, they take sightings on those particular spots that they've been assigned, draw an imaginary line back to the ship, and that's where the ship is. We do that about every minute and a half or 2 minutes as we move through the water. So this is a very busy place where the ship is at sea, like most areas are aboard the ship. But as in port, certainly things slow down. But in here, when the ship is at sea, it's a very busy spot. Okay, we're going to move on to our last spot. Let me get ahead of you here.
I'm smiling. Today we're on USS. What was it? USS Midway. The USS Midway.
This is actually 2 areas. The final stop on our little tour. The forward area is called the Captain's Bridge or the Navigation Bridge, and I'm standing in the pilot house. The 2 areas are connected because the people that work in here take their orders from the people that work out there on the bridge. When this ship was first built, all of that bridge was open. You can see where the portholes were. There used to be little actual you could close it off. It was what they call an open air bridge. For those of us who remember the old John Wayne movies with him standing up on the open bridge, but they closed it in '55 when they started having a lot of electronic equipment on the bridge. The chair on the left here, as you came on, where this young man with the blue hoodie sitting, is the captain's chair. The chair on the far side is where the navigator sits. That's the navigator's chair. When this ship is at sea, the captain spends about 95% of his time right up here on these spaces. He spends so much time up here that you'll see it on our way out down this corridor on your left. He has an at-sea cabin where he has a bed and a shower and a place to write. He really uses it just for napping. He doesn't really sleep in there. But most of the time he's going to be right there in that chair. He takes his meals in that chair. He's constantly on the phone to the other departments aboard the ship. And he uses in front of him is actually an old style computer screen. So the Midway did have computers aboard it when it was active. I love to give the tours below decks because we have like some old electric typewriters. Kids don't have a clue with what they are. Dial telephones, they don't know what they are, you know, things like that, which is fun. But the ship was in '92 when it was taken out of service, so it's been a while. And teletypes down in the communications area. Not like today in the world is how we exchange information. Up on the bridge would be 3 other junior officers. It'd be the officer of the deck, the junior officer of the deck, and the junior officer of the watch. Those are titles that are given to them while they're here on duty. They could be from any department aboard the ship. They could be from supply. They could be from communications. They could be from the air department. But they serve a 4-hour watch at the end of 4 years. 4-hour watch. And what they're there for is one of them is given the authority to give course and speed changes. The other 2 are up there to maintain the safety of the ship by checking out what's in front of them. What's out there, how fast they're going, what direction they're going, where they are going in relationship to the Midway. You have to be aware of that at all times. So this is a huge, huge piece of metal going through the water. It does not turn on a dime. As a matter of fact, it could take up to 30 seconds if we were to start to make the course change before you'd even feel the ship start to turn. So, at a top speed of about 35 knots, which is 38 miles an hour, we could cover a lot of ground in making a major course change. Could be up to a mile, mile and a half, just because of the way as big as this ship is. It's fun to sit here and watch ships going out to sea, because all of the ships that head out to sea have to go around that end of North Island. So you see them, I say they swerve into the thing, because they move around, but the rear end is kind of pushing the front around so when they make their turns. Especially an aircraft carrier when it's going out to sea. In here, there'd be some other young men working. One of them would be standing here. This is where the helmsman stands. He actually can